My beautiful friends, we are together again at last. Literally at last. It's Friday. This is my final video for the week. And although I will miss you until Sunday, I'm happy this week is over. What a week we had. A very good one for those trading this market. I think if you go back to the video that I did on Sunday, my markets a look ahead, you will see that the week played out pretty much exactly how I said it would, and I'm proud of it. All right, so anyway, yeah, post-market wrap-up on this Friday, July 10th, 2020. So let's put this together. Nice rally on Wall Street. Stocks off to the races. New record high for the NASDAQ. Is it time for a shocked face? No. I think you and I are over the shocked face. Although crude oil got bid up very nicely today. Almost 2.5%, 2 point something percent. No, that's not cause for a shocked face either, because we both know, or all of us do know here, that that's the game. Crude will get propped up. Now, I want to bring something to your attention. Bank stocks took off today. Part of that was because crude oil is catching a bid. I cannot stress to you, and most of you know this already, the investment banks have leveraged bets with regard to crude oil that you cannot believe. So when crude oil catches a bid like this, it's very positive for banks and financials. That's just the way it goes here. Obviously, it's positive for the energy sector as well. Now, let's talk about a few other things. We got the 10-year yield. It was below 0.6 earlier today. We got a little nudge there, 0.63, and the dollar came down. The dollar, like I said in the video this morning, you got to pay attention to the 10-year yield, number one. Number two, what the Dixie is doing. What's the dollar doing? These two assets, these two things will give you a heads up as to where the market's more than likely going to go. And I think most of you know that if you follow this blog here. Gold and silver did catch a bid here as well. But there is a bigger, much bigger thing going on right now, and that's what I want to talk about for the most part. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a little blow-by-blow with you, because there were a couple of stories here that need to be translated. It's really the truth. I mean, the stuff that's floated out here by the mainstream, a lot of it is just, it's all garbage. And you really got to translate it into a language that I think is understandable. Because, see, the truth of the matter is, they think you're stupid. Not only does the mainstream media think you're stupid, but our politicians think you're stupid too, from the president on down. And I'm going to prove that to you today when we get there. So bear with me. Let me open up a window here. All right, now let's talk about how today started. Stock futures were deep in the red last night. Started creeping up, as I talked about in the video I did this morning. Then they float this story out right before the opening bell. Okay, here we go. Dow and the broader stock market futures turned positive amid an upbeat report on Gilead's experimental coronavirus treatment. Now, with regard to the release of this bit of information, do you find it at all interesting that they do it prior to the market open when stock futures were lower? Of course not. This is the game. This is what they do. They play this market like a grand piano. Now, I want to talk about this. It's very, very, very important. This is a headline from Bloomberg. The headline reads like this: Top U.S. banks set for worst quarter since the financial crisis. Now, what happened today? Bank stocks got bid higher across the board. Now, if you subscribe to my newsletter, there is a link in the description of this video. You knew yesterday more than likely financials were going to go higher. Why? Because I told you I added to my financial position yesterday. Yeah, yesterday before the news, before the banks went up today, okay? So I think I know what I'm talking about. But let me set the stage for you here. The fact that bank stocks are going to have, according to Bloomberg, the worst quarter since the financial crisis, it's already baked into the market. There is no doubt in my mind whatsoever. And the fact that the Wall Street banks have a direct hotline to the Federal Reserve because they run it, this is bullish, okay? I expect banks, yes, to come with miserable earnings, but it's baked in, and I think this is positive at this particular time. So although, yes, I agree, it's going to be the worst quarter since the financial crisis, don't expect banks to fall. If you short them, you are more than likely going to lose. Okay, let's not do that. Let's move forward here. This is a statement I put out here. Understand, when you have Wall Street banks, all of them too big to fail, with access to unlimited capital via the Federal Reserve, the banks can't lose. It's an impossibility. Can they waver around? Sure. But if they drop, let me explain to you already ahead of time what will happen. This guy, I'm going to break out a whole bunch of Benjamin Franklins, and I'm going to be buying calls. Okay, so that should give you a clue. Now, I want to talk about this. This is very important. Fed President Kaplan came out today. The man is a troll. I don't know if you have ever seen what he looks like, but he looks like, a troll. Some kind of a thing pulled out of a science fiction movie, and they distorted his face. That's what he looks like to me. Now, understand this if you don't know already. Whenever a Fed president says something, you honestly immediately must think in the opposite. If you do that, you will succeed in life. Now, this is Fed President Kaplan wearing a mask. One of those New World Order marks across your face is the most important thing for the economy. To me, this says we should throw them all away. But that's just me. You're allowed to have your own opinion. All right, now let's move forward to the next lovely thing. I already spoke about how bank stocks took off today. Now, this is a big one that I want you to sit down, take a deep breath. Ready? Blow it out slow. Okay, here's the news here. This came out earlier. President Trump is not even thinking about a phase 2 deal with China. Now, let me explain to you how this is going to play out and how they set it up. Just yesterday, Larry Kudlow was floated out. Larry Kudlow downplayed the importance of a U.S.-China trade deal. Larry Kudlow is the same guy who was screaming to the top of his lungs how important it was that we had this historic deal. It's going to change the world. I mean, you can't make it up. Look it up for yourself. The man now has done a 180. It's not so important. That was yesterday. They're setting the groundwork. Today, the president comes out multiple times, not even thinking about a phase 2 deal. He can't think about a phase 2 deal because there was never a phase 1. We all know that. The market knows it, and the market's already figuring it out. And that's another reason why stocks are kind of doing what they're doing. We were waiting for 2 years? Never happened. It won't happen. And the president pushed this over and over again today. This is me. This is damage control. The president is saying he's not thinking about a phase 2. This is called damage control, to deflect from the fact that there was never a phase 1 deal. And you are being used and lied to, again, right out of the president's mouth. Then I wrote, MAGA, okay, hashtag stop the lies. It's never too late to turn it all around. And the president still has an opportunity to turn it all around if he would just stop the freaking lies. He doesn't even have to admit that he failed. The man tried. Okay, the President of the United States deserves some credit here in the fact that he tried to do something. It didn't work. China's turning him into a freaking puppet before the world, turning the United States into a puppet before the world. They hold all of the cards with regard to trade. That should be obvious to you. Okay, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Time to wake up, okay? If the president would just say, and how many times have you heard me say it? Look, deal isn't working. Time to throw it out and start a new one. The market would rip higher, but he can't do it. I don't know. Let me explain this to you. The President of the United States, I don't know if by design, has surrounded himself with idiots. Absolute idiots. People like Larry Kudlow. You can't make it up. The man completely missed the last meltdown while it was happening. You can't make that up either, but it's the truth. This is the guy he picked. The fact that the president has surrounded himself with idiots, are you surprised that the China deal is nowhere, that all it was a photo op? I'm not surprised. And I'm not putting the president down. Again, he can turn it around like this. All he's got to do is sit back and say, didn't work, everyone. We got to start fresh. I'll tell you something else. If he were to do that, his poll numbers would increase as well. All right, let's move forward just a little bit here. One more thing I wanted to tell you. One more thing. Oh, yeah. Here it is. And I'm going to give the president a little credit here, okay? I always, look, I am an equal opportunity person. If the president does something good or says something that I believe is true, I will give him all the credit in the world. If he's playing this pathetic game with the trade and setting it up through Larry Kudlow, then going up the back door here or right in that back door to say, oh, well, I don't want a phase 2 deal. I'm not thinking about it. I mean, you got to be kidding me. But here I'm going to give him credit. The president is calling out this Dr. Fauci. Now, Dr. Fauci, I posted a link to this last week, He admitted before the world. Here we go. He admitted that some of the information he's putting out on COVID-19 is not backed by data. And the president is unhappy about this. The president said he's made a lot of mistakes. Well, you know what, Mr. President? Bravo to you, sir. You see, it's not that hard to tell the truth. It's not that hard. All the people want, Mr. President, is to be treated not like idiots, okay? Not like the game you just played with Larry Kudlow, okay? Floating him out yesterday. U.S.-China trade deal, it's really not that important. And then you come in through the back door and say you're not interested in the deal. Now, I mean, it's looking really bad for you, Mr. President. But again, every day is a new opportunity to turn it all around. It's up to you. All right, people. So let's summarize here real quick. Nice rally on Wall Street. New record high for the NASDAQ. So ignore the other YouTube channels that have been screaming from rooftops that we're going to crash any day now. And they parade out guests. Gonna crash. They've been 100% wrong. And I can't imagine how anyone still watches them. But they do. You know exactly who I'm talking about. I won't bring up any names, okay? But regardless of that, I've kept you on the right side of this entire thing. And I fully intend to do that. I will not let you down ever. Ever, ever. Okay? Period. The end. All right, so anyway, rally on Wall Street's not going to stop. Do not miss my Markets a Look Ahead segment, which is going to come out Sunday. With regard to this entire thing, people, we got it covered. You know that. And we're going to make it work. Just ignore or learn to realize when you are being lied to and when you're being set up and used. That really rubs me the wrong way. All right, people, look, so it's Friday, and you know what I'm going to do. You know what I'm going to say, and we are going to do this together because it's the motion. These three things that I cover every freaking Friday are the most important of them all. So we're going to put this lovely week behind us, okay? We're going to look at things with a new perspective, and we're going to start with this. Are you ready? Love each other, care about each other, and be charitable. With that said, I really do love all of you. Please share the video. I will see you Sunday, and I'm looking forward to it.